You are live. The internet can totally see you now. To stop, use your encoder. Well then. Fucking tastic. Well, I am live apparently. Fuck. Let me promote myself, cause why the fuck not? Good lord. Let's see here. Is audio good by any chance? I'm gonna here, hold on, wait, actually. It should be good right now. Alright, well done. Let's see here. Stream health. Apparently it's yellow. Not sure what the hell that means. I guess medium? Um, Here, give me just a moment. Let me just close the door in my room really quick. So, yeah, we're going back to streaming some creepy stuff. If you guys, well, whoever's here. And anyone that's watching this pre-recorded, or recorded, whatever the fuck. Just close the door. Lights. Because I'm going to watch this shit in the dark. I'm going to watch it with you guys. You guys can hold my hand, right? I'm a fucking pansy when it comes to this shit, because that's how I roll. So yeah, anyways, so last time I streamed, just a little quick heads up, I streamed last time, but the issue was that I couldn't, I streamed a bit of a backwards music, or music that had background shit or whatever. And so that was a bad idea. But basically music that had backwards hitting meaning or whatever the fuck. So that was the worst idea I did, because immediately my stream was shut down. But at the same time, though, it came back up surprisingly. It suspended me for 1 second, and then I was allowed to to live stream again. So not sure what the fuck that was about. But don't threat, I found a good amount of videos for this occasion. And I would like to say, for the videos that I look up, I will obviously show you the channel. Make sure to subscribe to these channels, and just say that I sent you, or just say that you like, or just like their stuff, whatever. I don't give a shit. If you like them, good. That's good, because they do post some good content out there. So hope you guys sit down and enjoy. The first video that we have is from Rainbot Horror, called Netflix Cryptic Hidden Content. So yep. By the way, I'm still here, if you guys were wondering.
So here's the deal. Over the last couple months, people have been asking me to explain something called Example Short 23.976, which can be found on Netflix, but not as easily as you'd think. Of course, standard protocol would be to type the title into the Netflix search bar, but as you can see, doing so doesn't exactly get you any results. In order to find this thing, you'd actually have better luck typing the title into Google. Once located, this is what you'll find. It's 11 minutes long, and all it says is that its creators are... creator. Anyway, if you watch it, you'll see seemingly nonsensical shots of a fountain, buildings, flowers, and eventually a man who delivers a rather angry monologue. Now, towards the end of the video, things shift drastically to images like this.
That's
Alright, so
interesting.
example short 2... Okay, I'm just gonna say 23. Is obviously quite reminiscent of a few bizarre things we've seen online before, but one in particular especially stands out. Brace yourself here, because we're about to head way back to like 2014 or some shit. I can't remember exactly when this happened. Anyway, what I'm talking about is WebDriver Torso.
Oh, yeah,
This
I
is
remember that.
2018, so I'm hoping everyone knows what this is by now. If not, and because
Indeed.
I'm obligated to explain things, WebDriver Torso was a weird YouTube channel that no one could figure out. It uploaded at an alarming rate and only featured colored shapes set to beeping noises. So, long story short, Google eventually came forward with an almighty rickroll, literally, and revealed that WebDriver Torso was nothing more than a test page.
Yeah, so they say.
So, it is with great honor that I present to you the shortest and most disappointing conclusion to any video I've ever done. Example short 23 is exactly what it says it is. An example of 23.976 frames per second. Yes, I know how disappointing.
What that was?
It's specifically available in order for Netflix users to be able to diagnose issues with streaming. In other words, can't enjoy binge-watching Black Mirror for the 10th time due to crappy quality? Example short 23.976, why don't I just say 23, may have the answer for you. If this doesn't make sense, you can actually Google how to use it, so...
Also, a little fun fact, actually, those frames, if I'm not mistaken, I may need to look back on that, but I do, since I'm in the film class, well, since I go to film school, we have to use that amount of frames when we do rotoscoping work for stop motion stuff. That's one thing I also realize as well. That's this is basically like the amount of frames that we are able to work with.
Use it, so go ahead and do that, because I'm not a tech channel. I'm not going to give you a tutorial on this. Now, just in the interest of transparency, this video was most definitely not sponsored by Netflix, but I apparently just inadvertently gave you a troubleshooting tutorial for their platform, so hey, Netflix, hit me up. Help me out. I would greatly appreciate that. Things still kind of suck. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got for now. Just thought I'd throw out a quick little video for you guys while you wait on my other content, because haha, yeah, I know for once I'm actually uploading content. Anyway, with all that said, test out your streaming so you can watch actual creepy content on Netflix, and I'll see you all
Teacher
again soon.
rotoscoping? It's time consuming actually, but it's not bad. I mean, it's nothing wrong with it, but it is like what, teach you what, stop motion or rotoscoping? Because rotoscoping is kind of sort of a bit of a pain. Stop motion, I do feel like making some stop motion stuff actually, but it's just too much. Alright, so the next video is about it's about cursed images, so there's that.
Imagine scrolling through Twitter. It's safe to say that everything there is more or less exactly what you'd expect. A mix of jokes, posts about the holidays,
Also, hi TV.
the ongoing civil war among Star Wars fans, people locked in heated debates.
Everything.
But then, let's say you come across this.
I'll show you the best I
Whatever
can.
this is. Of course, it isn't graphic by any means, at least not on the surface, so logic would tell us that it's nothing. Just some random image that managed to sneak its way into your feed.
It's just hair
But
being pulled
still,
out of a exhaust
what is
pipe,
it?
I believe.
Cursed image 9090. That's all we're given in terms of context. Now, we know what it isn't, but we still have no idea what it is, and the
Cursed
caption
images.
really doesn't help. Our imaginations begin filling in the blanks, conjuring up wild, illogical theories as to what we're seeing despite our better judgment. Why on earth is there what appears to be human hair being pulled out of an exhaust pipe? Whose hair is it? More importantly, how did it get there?
And I find
Was
cursed
there
images
an
very
accident?
funny, actually.
Of course, there is clearly a logical explanation to this that doesn't involve a horrific accident or crime. The image was actually posted by a user who discovered the strange mess protruding from the back end of his car.
I got told I had something shoot out of my exhaust. When I went to look, I saw 5 feet of hair hanging out. What? What?
Confused, he asked Reddit if they had any explanation for it, and they quickly informed him that what he was looking at wasn't actually human hair, but dampening material from his car's muffler. Now, without this information, you probably carry on scrolling through your feed. You may even start some Twitter beef just for fun, but despite all the distractions, you might not be able to help but wonder what the so-called cursed photo was all about.
Our minds love to play tricks on us. Things that are mysterious or lacking in context are oftentimes way more interesting than things we understand. Even seemingly innocent or comedic images can give off an unsettling and unnerving vibe.
Yo, why the fuck does
lacking a
Bart look
sufficient
like he's
amount of
high on
context.
something?
One anonymous Twitter user realized this and began an account dedicated to posting unattributed photos, labeling them only
Did
as
they have a
cursed
special guest on
image,
this episode?
followed by a number. The account itself, of course, is simply named Cursed Images. Now, if this is the first time that you've heard of this account, then you may be surprised to hear that it was only active for roughly 3 months before going dark.
He does though.
But in that
Yo,
short
is that
amount of time,
Homer?
it managed to accumulate a following of over 100,000 people.
Damn, dude, that guy was
and
partying
even
pretty
showed
hard.
interest from notable media outlets. The account's final string of posts were made on Halloween of 2016.
Yo, that coyote opened
and
a
one
third
last
eye.
post was made a year later. Many
that's
eager
bizarre.
fans hoped this would mark the comeback of Cursed Images, but sadly
Nothing wrong
they
with
were
Hello
left
Kitty.
disappointed.
So what is it exactly that makes this account so compelling to so many people? The thing is, labeling a seemingly nonsensical image as cursed is actually somewhat of an old running joke among certain pockets of the internet due to the sheer absurdity of it. On top of this, a counter account called Uncursed Images does exist solely to source and dig up the truth about the images posted to the Cursed Images Twitter page. So, in a sense, none of the images here are actual mysteries. It of course doesn't take the internet long to find the information they seek if they decide to go looking. It certainly doesn't ruin the magic, but of course there are some people dying to see behind the curtain.
That's
In an
indeed
interview
true.
with The New Yorker, the creator of the Cursed Images Twitter page addressed the many rumors surrounding his or her identity, some claiming the account to be the work of a bot or perhaps someone posting out of sheer boredom. It's just like the lack of context for the images, the admin
It
explains.
has to be a bot.
Whoever you think I am, that's what I am. In another interview, this time with Gizmodo, the admin explains that the roots of the account trace back to just a few months before it was created.
Yo,
While
can we
browsing
can we go back on that for a second? Yo,
just a few months before
what is this? God, talk about like being poor on a whole new level. But hey, man, I mean, you gotta improvise, right? I mean, whatever works.
it was created.
Why the fuck is there avocado instead of a doll?
While browsing on
Okay, I'm
Tumblr,
sorry.
he or she
Sorry.
noticed a few photos captioned only as cursed image and
Oh yeah. The what's it called? That duck that with the heads on fire or whatever. I have seen that on Facebook, and I don't know why, but for some reason, every time when you look at it, or every time when you try to like, anyone who uploads that image, for some reason, it is blocked because I don't know. They say it's too much. I don't know. That's not guac bowl. That's a guac girl.
quickly set out to
basically.
find more.
Hey,
Shortly
Lucretions.
after,
Hi.
the admin decided to begin compiling their own collection of so-called cursed images, eventually showcasing their findings on Twitter. This of course begs the question of what exactly makes a cursed image. The admin speaks about this in depth during the Gizmodo interview, explaining how the images are meant to tap into a sense of discomfort, to make the viewer feel uneasy.
I just want to say, like,
Not
I
necessarily
love, your
shocked,
video was really great. I
disgusted,
loved
or
it.
scared,
Honestly,
just
so, yeah, that's all I can say. I
unnerved.
mean, I think I pretty said it, but yeah.
Many of the images even come off as silly, something done deliberately to insert an air of mystery to the account as a whole, confusing users and leaving them unsure if the account is meant to be taken seriously or not.
What exactly makes a cursed image is
I'm sure
probably
everyone-
best illustrated by
Don't
the
hate
admin's
clowns.
favorite of the
They're
bunch,
just trying to make a
as
living.
explained to Gizmodo. Cursed image 474056. I always hear stories
How
about
is
these
that-
beautiful and terrifying pools of water that go down forever.
How is that one cursed?
Sometimes the lakes have a dark history, like a kid diving too deep and never coming back up, or someone seeing an unrecognizable creature swimming down with them in the depths. This definitely gives me that feeling, and I can't help but imagine this picture documents a body of water like that.
What?
First images play with our wild imaginations and fear of the unknown.
Oh,
On
okay,
top
okay.
of this, they're also a little peek onto how we as
Oh, you're afraid of
individuals
clowns.
perceive
Okay, that
different
makes sense.
things.
I
Chances
mean, everyone
are,
is.
you and your friends won't be bothered by the exact same
about
images
dolls?
on this account.
Throw
Our
a
own
snake at
personal
'em.
backstories and histories play a huge role in determining which directions our minds take when presented with images like the one we just discussed. To some, simply a group of friends out for a little dip. To others, a gateway into darkness where who knows what could be swimming right beside us.
As stated earlier, the Cursed Images Twitter account is technically currently inactive,
Oh,
but
okay,
I do
so
recommend that you
Elder's
go
Vault, so
check
that's
it
that
out
guy.
for yourself and maybe even give it a follow, as there
I'll
still
admit,
does
his
seem to be a
voice,
chance
like
of
when
a
I first
cursed
heard it,
image
it did sounded a
comeback.
bit creepy.
With all that
for a
said, thank
second.
you so much for watching, stop killing each other over Star Wars, and I'll see you all soon.
Last night we told you the chilling story of a
Oh, the dark side of Reddit featuring Nightmare Expo. But yeah, anyways, honestly, not really. But after Chucky, oh yeah. You mean Annabelle? You mean after Chucky and Annabelle? TV.
Quebec woman arrested for hacking into people's personal computers.
All right, who is this? Who is this person again? Is it Rainbot? Okay, that's Rainbot. Okay, sweet. So yeah, again, like any people that I have in this video or in this playlist, make sure to check them out if you like scary stuff. These guys are fucking awesome. They are great. So yeah.
And spying
we
on
learned
them through
today
their
that Russian
webcams.
hackers
It's not the
are
only
getting
creepy
into
thing
private
hackers can do.
webcams
In
and
fact, right
closed-circuit
now, a
cameras
website out
all
of
over the
Russia
world
is streaming
and
hacked
posting what
security
they see
cameras and
live
webcams,
on the
including
web.
dozens
At the
here in
UK's
Canada.
National Health
And as
Service
Mike-
demanding
The
ransom
website
to
broadcasts
unlock the
pictures from
files.
tens of
Some
thousands
hospitals
of
even had to
private
cancel
web
appointments
cameras
because of
peering
it.
into the lives of
Turn your computer
unsuspecting
off when
victims
you're not
across
using
the
it.
globe.
And if
Like
you do go
inside a
online
little
using
shop
the
in
public
Amarillo.
Wi-Fi, keep in mind that someone may be watching you.
Yeah, that's the thing. People can actually be watching you anywhere. Oh, Nightmare Expo! I remember Nightmare Expo and Rainbot. Yes, both of them working together. Great. Nightmare Expo is also a really great YouTuber who also does paranormal stuff or what's it called, other stuff like that.
Is one of the biggest forums on the internet today, and as of 2016, the site has amassed over 236 million unique viewers with over 8 billion page views per month. This goes without saying that with all the posts and conversations taking place there on a daily basis, there's bound to be some weird and disturbing stuff hidden beneath the surface and waiting to be found. Today, Rainbot and I are going to be sharing with you some hidden gems from the dark and disturbing side of Reddit.
But yeah, it has to be Annabelle and Chucky. Honestly, for me, it was Chucky, but in reality, not many.
A user by the name of Yay Video Games seemed to be active on many gaming subreddits before a stunt on one post that resulted in him getting banned. A few years ago, a user named I Wish I Was a Meme made a post in the gaming subreddit asking what everyone's favorite mods were for Elder Scrolls Oblivion. As expected, users chimed in with their recommendations on what to install. However, things began to get a bit weird when Yay Video Games responded. His initial response seemed quite normal and sarcastic and read, "The uninstall button. The game is great and all that, but god, it is hard to fully remove all the junk it leaves behind on your system. You really need to check out that mod when the time comes to get rid of it. Otherwise, I think Ascuro's Oblivion overhaul is a nice start."
What?
Now, this is nothing out of the ordinary, right? I thought so too. A user, who since deleted their account, responded with a simple "what?", which prompted Yay Video Games to reply with this: "The uninstall button. The game is great. Ubisoft goes Steamworks bye-bye always on DRM, but you oft go work. Always on work DR. Check out the junk it leaves behind in you." Now after reading this, we can assume that he must have been carelessly typing, or he could have been tired or something like that. Still, nothing too out of the ordinary. The other guy we mentioned then responds once more stating this: "That makes even less sense. Oblivion has an uninstall button and it works. I've used it more times than I care to mention. All mods install themselves in Oblivion's directory. The uninstall doesn't touch them as it's unaware. All you do is delete the Oblivion directory." After this, it just begins to get weird. Yay Video Games then begins responding with the same phrase, "Ubisoft goes Steamworks bye-bye always on DRM," over and over to the point where he floods the guy's comment thread with countless replies stating that same phrase. Jumping over to another post in gaming by another user who since deleted their account, we can see a post titled "Ubisoft goes Steamworks bye-bye, always on DRM," which contains a link to a page which now 404s. In this thread, we can see a few groups of people. 1. People actually talking about Ubisoft and their apparent split from DRM on their games. 2. People freaking out wondering what the hell's going on. And 3. Yay Video Games and a congregation of other users repeatedly posting different spins on that same phrase.
Why?
Now, right here, you might initially be able to pass this guy off as a spammer, and to be quite honest, I felt the same way. It, however, gets interesting when you realize the fact that this guy commented this mess over 4,000 times.
Are you fucking kidding me?
He also formats each comment differently, with some being self-referential, some containing bold, some containing italics, some containing links, and the vast majority, if not all of them, having unique spelling and length. This guy did more than copy and paste, and to be quite honest, it doesn't stop there. I had just mentioned that Yay Video Games had included links in his comments, and I wanted to share some of those with you. As we can see, the links are sporadically placed within letters and random assortments of words that all take a spin on his initial phrase. Each link takes us to an image that seems to get more and more disturbing and weird as we go along. Now, as we can see, most of these appear to be completely random, and there are honestly quite a few that come off as pretty funny. We have one that depicts a drawing of Asian people laughing in underwear while others standing across from them appear to be holding an imaginary gun. We have one that depicts a person in a witch hat with an explosion in the background. There's another that shows a lady pouring milk onto the ground, and there's another that appears to be a distorted person diving into the ground on a beach.
It looks like he's just like
random.
stretching.
However, it gets interesting when we discover the
It's
fact that
Elastigirl.
embedded in one of his comments.
Hey, Pro Gamer,
is
what's up,
this.
man?
Now at this point, this seems to be what we've gathered so far. 1. We have an unknown person who seemed to have undergone a change of some sort, leading him to post the same phrase over and over again. 2. The person seems to have self-referential and uniquely formatted comments that would take some time to make. And 3. The comments seem to have a random assortment of bizarre images embedded throughout, with the most notable one being the actual writing of the same phrase that's being posted. Nobody seems to be able to have any explanation for this, although there are many theories that have been thrown around,
we're going
ranging
back
from the guy
to
who
so
actually
the chill
snapped
stream
and
on
went
spooky
insane,
stuff,
to a very
actually.
sophisticated bot that
So,
ran the
yeah.
helm of this entire fiasco.
That's
Lastly,
basically
if anyone tries to access his Reddit profile, they'll
last
simply be
stream.
met
I
with
guess
the
you can already tell what
404,
happened. Like, if
and that's
fucking
it.
my stream shut down. The mystery digital camera. Oh wait. Oh yeah, but no. Like,
A user on a throwaway account called IDK What Even Is This made a
so yeah, what happened last time when I last streamed was that like I streamed was supposed to be like backwards music, and I assume that is what shut my stream down yet last night, I believe. And so this time I picked out a playlist on videos that I know for sure that is not gonna get me kicked out or that's not gonna shut my stream. So yeah, I just you're just gonna continue on with this.
post about a year ago on the relationship advice subreddit claiming that she had found a random digital camera hidden away under her kitchen sink. She began by stating that her and her husband's relationship is pretty happy-go-lucky, and that nothing really out of the ordinary tends to happen. She's still waiting on her work authorization since she's fairly new to the US, and because of that she has a lot of free time to poke around the house. She stated that one day she randomly stumbled upon an old, dusty biscuit tin while cleaning under her kitchen sink, and began to look inside when she noticed a very well-kept digital camera. After turning it on, she realized that there were random assortments of images taken in pairs of only her things. For instance, she claims that she found 2 respective photos of her purse hanging on their dining room chair, followed by 2 pictures of her makeup, and then 2 pictures of her keys on the kitchen counter, and so on and so forth. Following this, she claimed that she didn't quite know what to make of it, if she should even bring it up, and that she was completely confused as to why her husband would do this. Commenters responded to this with theories being thrown all over the place. In regards to the photos being in pairs, they suggested that the husband possibly didn't know how to properly operate the camera, and like many people, held down the button for too long, resulting in the pictures coming out in pairs.
Oh yeah.
Also, in regards to the photos of the items themselves, well, there have been claims that 1, he could be doing it to possibly ensure that he didn't get her a birthday or a Christmas gift of something that she already has. 2, he's shuffling through her items when she's not around and possibly dressing up and using her things without her knowledge as some sort of fetish. 3, he thinks that there's a ghost haunting the house and wants to make sure that the items are where they left them. Or 4, he's doing it for insurance purposes in case anything were to happen to these items. Now, I want to take a moment to pick some of these apart. In regards to Theory 1, the gift thing would make sense, however, she also stated that he had taken pictures of her keys, which essentially voids this claim.
Yeah, that's true.
Theory 2, while weird as shit, could be a sensible one with the husband ensuring that he leaves her used items where they initially were. However, if he was actually doing this, and depending on how big he is, then she most likely would have noticed her things being stretched or maybe her makeup being used, so to be quite honest, this seems unlikely.
Indeed.
Regarding theory number 3, I honestly think it's silly. First off, why the hell would he hide these photos from his wife? And also, if there was actually something weird going on in the house, the wife would most definitely have noticed since she seems to be the one that's home most of the time anyway. Lastly, with number 4 being the most logical and least extreme theory, once again, why would he be compelled to hide the camera in a dusty biscuit tin under the sink without telling his wife? It just doesn't add up, and it's left a lot of people, including myself, confused and intrigued.
Why would you hide a camera in there, like, in general?
Returned to follow up on the story. It's all pretty sketchy, and I'm still curious exactly what this guy was doing with all those pictures and what he could have been hiding.
My mom poisoned me?
A user named Poisoned by Mom used a throwaway account to make a post in the Off My Chest subreddit claiming that he believed that he was being poisoned by his own mother. He walked us through his backstory, claiming that since he had become an adult, his mother had become extremely manipulative and was completely against him moving out of the house and getting on his feet. He stated that he originally landed a job as a line cook, with his parents constantly reminding him that they're against it. Fast forward, and he eventually left due to health reasons, and after this, got another job as a computer programmer. He claims that while he had this job, his mother and sister had become very hostile, which eventually led to him moving out of the house to live on his own. After working for the programming company for a short while, they eventually let him go, which forced him to have to move back home. For a while during his stay back with his family, he claims that everything seemed to go well until he began getting calls from recruiters, which led them to become hostile once again. They began throwing remarks at him along the lines of the idea that he didn't love them anymore and that he hated them. It was super manipulative stuff. Eventually, he landed the gig at the programming company once more, and the day before he was scheduled to move out, his mother randomly gave him 2 ramen noodle cups and various other food items to eat while he was away. He knew that she knew that he didn't have any money, so that's why he initially assumed that she was actually somewhat helping him out, all hostility aside. After his first day at his new job and place, he ate one of the cups of ramen and began to feel ill. He stated that he felt this way before after his sister once fed him something bad a few years prior. He said he felt weak, lightheaded, and short of breath. Even more interestingly, his mother kept following up with him to ensure that he ate the ramen. This eventually led him to believe that, through researching on the internet, he was poisoned by his own mother with cyanide, since most of the symptoms that he was experiencing were the exact same as what he found online, and also due to the fact that his mother was eerily adamant on him eating his ramen. He went forward and bought a cyanide test kit online and posted his results, which appear to have come up positive.
Ooh.
He then ended his post with a statement saying that he's going to call the cops and never talk to his family again, followed with an update that the authorities unfortunately couldn't do much with his kit since it was open. A few months later, he posted another update claiming that he was living out of a cheap motel in Kansas and that apparently his mother had somehow found him and called the motel. She asked if she could speak with him, and the motel refused to give her his information since she couldn't prove that she was his mother. The motel then notified him of this, and we can assume that he felt unnerved. He stated that the next day for work, he left a little earlier than usual just to be safe. While at the bus stop, he noticed a strange and random car with the driver wearing an ominous black hood. Thinking back, he remembered that his mother had once told him that if she visited him, she would be in a rental car, and so he assumed that this was his mother dressed pretty strangely. After catching a glimpse of her face, he knew for sure that it was her, and she kept signaling for him to come closer to her, and that she only wanted a hug. He quickly refused, and proceeded to take another bus to his job, as she knows where his usual stop is now. After this, he then closed his last post by asking for advice, and if there are any other programming job openings around the area, in hopes of being able to move. His very last update was in a comment with him claiming that he did in fact find another job, and is now living out of state in much better health. The creepiest part about this entire story is the fact that his mother, his own flesh and blood, attempted to manipulate him into staying home and living with her and her husband indefinitely.
That's indeed
Generally,
true.
the very premise of someone's child getting on their feet and growing up as an adult is usually applauded by the parents. However, as we can see with our victim, this was definitely not the case. Furthermore, the fact that his own mother poisoned him for being successful and having the ability to move out on his own is astonishing to me. It's one thing to be disappointed and manipulative toward your child, however it's a completely different story when you come to determine the fact that they attempted to kill him. With proper evidence, this family could be put in prison or jail. However, due to the unfortunate circumstances surrounding this, our victim can do nothing but cut them off and live his own separate life entirely.
Sorry about that.
There's a subreddit called Controllable Webcams, where users can post direct links to accessible, unsecured, and vulnerable Wi-Fi cameras. This subreddit alone has 36,000 subscribers, and most of them seem to be active users. The posts range anywhere from public surveillance camera feeds to in-home Wi-Fi cameras of random stuff, ranging anywhere from displaying people as they sleep to as far as watching them go about their daily lives.
That is crazy.
There are many websites that are linked to this subreddit, with a notable one being the
To think that right now,
directory.
at this very moment,
the
there
is
is someone
essentially
in
a
this
compilation
world
of live, vulnerable
observing
in-home
your
Wi-Fi
daily
cameras that have been
routine.
tapped into and submitted
Just
to the
makes me
site.
wonder, what the
On the
fuck are
site
you
in
doing with
particular,
your
we have
life?
the means to tap into feeds displaying backyards, churches, and even bedrooms, all in real time. Now, if
And
you're
these are
not familiar with Nestcam, they're one of the
CCTV
top
cameras,
sellers
right?
of in-home Wi-Fi cameras, and if you don't know what the hell you're doing when you set it up, you can easily leave open a loophole that would allow you to be watched through the many, many directories that exist on both the surface and deep web, much like this one. The amount of people that are being watched through these directories without their knowledge is outrageous, and the problem really exists solely due to a disconnect of information between the internet provider, the Wi-Fi camera manufacturer, and simple user ignorance. Also, around the web exist many claims from users that claim to have an addiction to watching these webcams without the victim's knowledge. One user, for instance, made a claim that he indeed felt guilty about spying on people that have cameras set up all over their home, and even went as far to say that he felt morally that he should probably reach out to these people and let them know that their
stream
entire
good, by the
lives
way,
are
for
being
you guys?
broadcast to the world. However, after some thought, he asked himself, why? The fun would be over. It is without a doubt
Can you guys let me
creepy
know
shit,
if the stream
and
is
it makes
good?
you think just what the hell people are thinking when they do these sorts of things. This Reddit community, however, is just a tiny implication of a much larger following that exists on the internet today. There are, in fact, many, many more hidden websites and directories out there that have surprisingly large user bases. If you do any sort of digging on the subject, you'll be shocked at just how much you can really find out there. All in all, people tend to forget that anytime you use your phone, a camera is being centered upon your face, and this could be tapped into at any time. The same goes for your laptop and any other smart device that you may own. You can't be too safe these days, and if you've ever made fun of someone who has their laptop cameras covered or anything like that, I'd think about that for a minute and consider the fact that you could someday stumble upon a feed of yourself somewhere out there.
As we said before, Reddit is one of the largest forums on the internet today, and like we just discussed, there's clearly a disturbing and dark side to the site. We hope you all enjoyed this, and I wanted to give a very huge and special thank you to Rainbot for joining me in this project. Be sure to go over to her channel as well and give her some love, and a big thank you also. Anyway, like always, keep throwing me your creepiest suggestions of videos, internet posts, and websites, and I'll be sure to look into them. Thank you so much for watching, I love you all, and once again, good night.
That was pretty good.
Who
Yeah, sorry
remembers
for
their
the
first
ads,
birthday
guys.
cake anyway?
Yes, Vinny, it's entertaining to know this information. Something thoughts you need to be thinking about. I mean, when you put it like that, yeah. Yeah, I was like making sure that the stream was good because it says that the stream is okay, like health-wise it says that it's okay. So if everything is good, you know, I can just easily restart it and, you know, fix it up. But, you know, if it's okay with you guys, then yeah. Oh, yeah. This guy is Scare Theater. I love his videos. Again, you know, really good.
Of the many popular outdoor activities that exist, hiking and spelunking can be very adventurous and rewarding. This hobby, of course, comes with many risks. Many caves are filled with dangerously high falls, falling objects, and then there's the risk of getting lost. In a previous video, I talked about a caver who encountered some strange occurrences on an expedition, but now we're going to take a look at a caver who wasn't lucky enough to return from his outing. Years ago, a YouTuber by the name of Snakebit McGee, real name Kenny, posted a comment on a video called Son of an Area 51 Technician. The comments on this video have been disabled now, but at the time, it described him going on a hike near the Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada. During the hike, he found a cave shaped like a perfect capital M. As he approached the cave, his body began to vibrate. The closer he got to the cave, the more intense the vibrating became. Eventually, this feeling became too frightening, and he ran away from the cave. A lot of the responses he received were skeptical and demanded proof that this actually happened. He eventually responded saying he would go back again someday with a weapon and try to find the cave again. A few months later, he did as he promised and went back to the area to search for the cave. He even made a 20-minute long video documenting his search.
And I'm looking for a cave that I found, and something about that cave just spooked me. This one just made my body vibrate. The closer I got to it, the crazier my body felt.
Although he saw some interesting animals, he was not able to find the cave.
Well, I did not find the cave.
A month later, Kenny announced that he was once again going back to the canyon to attempt to find the cave. He even offered for people to join along, but no one else came. One person left an unnerving comment that read, "No, don't go back there. If you find that cave entrance, don't go in. If you do, you won't get out. This person probably wasn't being serious, but it's still eerie to read that, considering the events that followed. On November 10th, 2014, Kenny set out on a 2-day hike to find the cave, but he never returned home. A month after Kenny went missing, his girlfriend left a comment on his last hiking video. She informed us that he never returned from the hike, and she called the police when he didn't return when he said he was supposed to. A search and rescue team was sent out, and they were only able to find a cell phone that he left behind near an entrance to an abandoned mine shaft. When they searched for Kenny inside the mine shaft, however, they were not able to find him. To this day, no one knows exactly what happened to Kenny, but there are 3 main theories that people have speculated on. One theory is that he died from natural causes in the canyon. Another is that he took this final trip to commit suicide. And finally, there's a theory that he was silenced by the government. Let's start with the first theory.
Weird.
This by itself already seems pretty plausible. I already mentioned before that spelunking and hiking has plenty of dangers as it is.
Indeed.
But when you look at how few precautions Kenny actually took for these trips, it becomes clear that safety was not a huge concern of his.
For sure.
He rarely ever brought much food or water with him, just because he liked to make it more difficult for himself.
Yeah, that's the
He
number
never
one
brought
thing
a
you
compass
need.
or a GPS, and the areas he hiked in weren't always
That's
the
true.
safest.
You also need a GPS.
Because I didn't bring a whole lot of water, and I only got like 1 candy bar to get me through, but I like roughing it that way. I'm sure there's mountain lions out here, but there's, as you can see, there's no water out here. You got to know which canyons to go down, otherwise you get lost up here. I don't bring a compass or anything.
He even talked about how on some of his hikes, his toenails would turn black and fall off. In his
Oh, dude,
words,
that's
it
gross.
would take him 3 days to recover from the abuse he put himself through.
What?
So it's definitely a possibility that something went wrong during his hike to find the cave, which subsequently led to his death. The next theory we have is that Kenny committed suicide. I was skeptical of this until I read the reasons why people believed it. I mentioned before that his girlfriend left some comments on his hiking video. We can confirm that this
Yeah,
really is his girlfriend,
I'm also a bit skeptical
because on
on
her
that as well.
channel, she has videos of the 2 of them together. In one of her comments, she says she believed that Kenny committed suicide because he had been battling depression for many years.
What?
A little more than a year before his disappearance,
Them
he
toenails
quit his
need
job
Jesus.
and tried to make a living selling inventions that he made. This didn't go well,
He doesn't need to paint
which led
them
to
anymore.
financial problems, which resulted in him getting even
I
more
mean,
depressed.
what I mean by that is, like, you know how they turn
The fact
black.
that his father
you know.
also committed suicide when Kenny was younger didn't help.
His father
At one
committed
point,
suicide?
his girlfriend asked if he was going to pull a Robin Williams on her, and he told her that if he did it, no one would ever find him. This theory is supported by a few things. For
Well,
one, we can see videos of Kenny showcasing his inventions for his Shark Tank audition videos on his channel, so that confirms that part of her story.
My name is Kenny Veek, and I invented the new improved toilet paper roll holder for the household.
Second, Kenny said that if he killed himself, no one would ever find him. Well, no one ever did find him. In addition, Kenny left for his trip without bringing his camera. If he was truly going out there to find the M Cave, then surely he would have brought the camera.
Yeah.
This
to
would
really
also explain why the
document
search
his
team
life
was
and all
only
that.
able to find his phone. His girlfriend believes that he purposely left his phone behind so that his GPS couldn't be tracked. This seems reasonable to me, as I don't see any other reason why he would just leave his phone behind like that. All this put together really does make it seem like he may have gone out on this hike to end his life. The final theory is that Kenny was silenced by the government. Because the M Cave was supposedly spotted near the Nellis Air Force Base, which is somewhat close to Area 51, some people believe that the M Cave led to some type of secret underground military base. Some people theorize that Kenny
M,
found the cave,
as in military
discovered
base.
something that he shouldn't have, and was then killed by the government so no one would find out. This would explain the vibrations that Kenny felt in his body when he first approached the cave. Many people speculate that the government can use infrasound to deter people from locations. Infrasound is pretty much just a low-frequency sound that can cause extreme uneasiness in people when they hear it. According to an article on popsci.com, specific frequencies can make one's body vibrate with high enough power. Maybe the M Cave was being protected by infrasound frequencies, and that is what deterred Kenny from going in the first time. If this is the case, then who knows what was being hidden in that cave? Whatever happened to Kenny, it's really sad that he had to go.
That's true.
No one might ever know what exactly happened to him. His body was never found, and no one has ever located the M Cave either. One thing is for sure, Kenny definitely left behind a pretty big mystery. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the flip side.
Was the MK real? Who knows? We will never know. What's the next video actually? There's the M cave. Oh yeah. This one's also a really interesting one.
In a place today known as Bavaria, Germany, 5 members of the Gruber family, including the family maid, were murdered in cold blood. It was March 31st of 1922 when the murders were committed, and early April when the bodies were found. To this day, it remains to be Germany's most disturbing case of mass murder, with no perpetrator ever being discovered. However, to truly discover what happened, let's establish a timeline. The working maid at the time quit, claiming that the residence was haunted. She, who was unnamed, claimed to have heard footsteps in the attic and heard whispers. This, of course, caused her to leave and never return. The family thought she was insane and just delusional. Finally,
day before the
a new
murders.
maid was hired to live at the household and take care of the children, as well as the residents. She'd only worked 1 day at the estate. Also, the same day, the family discovered many things. They themselves began to also hear footsteps elsewhere in the house, when they knew for a fact no one would have been there. Mr. Gruber found the newspaper that he did not recognize and knew he hadn't purchased. A set of house keys went missing, as well as it was discovered the toolshed had apparently been attempted to be broken into, as scratches and such were strewn about the door near the handle. And most disturbingly, they found footsteps in the snow leading up to the house from the nearby woods, except no return footsteps were found. This, of course, brought the conclusion along with other evidence someone had entered the house and was staying there. However, the Gruber family was unfortunate enough to not understand this until it may have been too late.
The night
No
of
one
the
is
murders.
sure of this, but the following is what is believed.
Okay, again, this story, I find it very fucking interesting. Because what's going to happen next, it's going to leave you thinking whether if a murder actually occurred or if there was some sort of entity that occurred.
To have happened. At some point in the night, each member of the household, except for 2-year-old Joseph and 44-year-old Maria, maid of the family, were lured into the barn and slaughtered, one by one with a pickaxe, then stacked upon each other like hay bales. Young daughter, 7-year-old Cecilia, was later found to be grasping clumps of her own hair and had bald spots on her head. This led investigators to believe that she died rather slowly and felt an enormous amount of torture, unlike the rest of the family, who were dealt deadly injuries that killed them quickly. The murderer then proceeded into the house, where he killed Joseph in his crib, then Maria in her bed. In the days following the murders, neighbors didn't suspect a thing. Many reported seeing smoke rise from their chimney. Their cattle were being fed, the estate was properly maintained, the postman even claimed their dog was tied up outside when he was delivering mail. On April 4th, locals grew concerned and investigated the residence to find 4 gruesomely murdered bodies covered in hay in the barn, followed by Joseph in his crib and Maria in her bed, all brutally murdered with a pickaxe. Immediately, local police began investigating. The man who stood out the most in the investigation was their neighbor, Lorenz Schlittenbauer, who also led the search party to find them before stumbling across the remains at the residence. He was a key suspect, as apparently he had an affair with Mrs. Gruber, and believed that Joseph was his son, even though Joseph was actually the result of an incestuous relationship with her own father. One popular theory points to the widowed Victoria dead husband. Even though it was recorded that he was killed in action in the trenches of France in the First World War, some believe he actually didn't die, and returned only to find his wife with another man, leading him to go into a rage and methodically plan and execute their murders. However, police chose to believe the reports of his fellow soldiers seeing him die, though for some reason his death was never recorded. A year following the murders, the residence was torn down and a monument was erected in its place, honoring the victims. The last person to be interviewed in relation to the case was in 1986. Over 100 people were questioned in their involvement, with not a single one leading to an arrest in relation with the mass murder that took place. In 2007, the German Police Academy, despite suspects being dead and evidence being destroyed, studied the infamous case and narrowed it down to one person. But it was too late, as they had been already dead for many years. With this in mind, they decided to not release who they thought had committed the murders in respect to the living relatives and descendants of the suspect. But still, to this day, no one knows for sure who committed the murders, and perhaps whoever did took it to the grave with them. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the flip side.
Alright guys, I'll be right back for a quick second, but yeah, no, that one is very fucking interesting, because again, no murders were found, so they don't know if this was an entity. Well, they say they were murdered by a pickaxe, so obviously a person could have done this, but whoever that person is, who knows if they're still alive to this day, or if they're actually gone, but either way, it is very fucking disturbing. So, yeah, I'll be right back, guys. You give me a second. Oh, jeez. Gonna put my phone aside. Alright, I'm back. Ah, jeez. Yeah, sorry about that. But I had to go use the bathroom. That was spoopy. So, yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah. I remember now. The next video is about strange ritual at CERN. So, this one is also another interesting one. I'll let the video explain for itself.
This event happened a while ago, yet I still find it pretty captivating, so I thought I would talk about it. Chances are, you've heard of CERN before, also known as the European Organization for Nuclear Research. It's a physics laboratory that has a Large Hadron Collider, which is the world's largest particle accelerator. Because of some of the research done here, there have been quite a few people who believe they're trying to accomplish some evil occult-like stuff here, and a video that surfaced a while ago fueled those theories even more. In August of 2016, an allegedly leaked video was released that depicted some sort of satanic ritual at CERN. The video appears to be taken secretly from some guy looking through a window in one of the buildings. During the ritual, several people in cloaks walk up to the statue of the Hindu god Shiva. After this, a woman takes off her cloak and lies on the ground. This is followed by her being stabbed by one of the people wearing a cloak, and the guy recording flips out. I'll show you that part of the video right now, so you can judge how authentic you think it is.
Jeez.
This gained a lot of attention, especially from conspiracy theorists. A video by Stranger Than Fiction News provided some more insight into the video very shortly after the video first surfaced. They were able to confirm that this video took place within the restricted boundaries of the CERN facility, so it's very unlikely the people in this video were not CERN employees. It is also believed that the guy who recorded this was in on the sacrifice ritual, because if you look in the reflection of the glass, you can see he's wearing a cloak as well, just like the people outside. Eventually, CERN responded to this.
So was he working like as an inside
on
man?
their frequently asked questions page, they addressed this video, saying it was a hoax perpetrated by some of the employees there. They also say they do not condone actions like these, which violate their professional guidelines, which state, any behavior which can have a detrimental impact on how our organization is perceived by our neighbors, our member states, and the wider international community, and hence could impact eventually on CERN's reputation and fate, shall not be tolerated. They even referenced this video on the guidelines page, saying they were continuing an investigation that could lead to disciplinary measures for the people involved. Although on the frequently asked questions page, they say they've already identified the people responsible and took the necessary actions.
Huh?
In all likelihood, this is only a hoax, like CERN says. But this is not the first time they've been accused of doing things like this. For a while now, people have had the suspicion that CERN was up to something fishy. Because of their statue of Shiva, some people tried to use this as evidence of them trying to resurrect ancient gods. This statue was actually just a gift from India to celebrate its association with CERN in the 1960s. The statue was chosen because in the Hindu religion, this god does a cosmic dance, which CERN correlated with the cosmic dance of subatomic particles. In addition to this, there are people who claim that CERN must be satanic because of their logo. Some people say the lines on the logo from the numbers 666.
Oh,
CERN
God.
also addressed this on their frequently asked questions page, saying the shapes in their logo are actually just representations of particle accelerators. This here is what their logo originally was, but it was changed to this in 1968.
They're part of the children of Adam.
The theories don't stop there. There are even people saying that CERN is
Fallout
going to
reference.
open a portal to another dimension, and that they might even be opening a portal to hell. These theories can get really crazy. Whereas there are a lot of people who genuinely do believe this stuff, there are also a lot of people who purposely create hoaxes to garner attention. In 2015, a channel named Section 51 2.0 uploaded a video showing this interdimensional portal forming over CERN.
Oh yeah,
That
that's just insane.
has to
At
be
one
fake.
point, we can see a UFO fly into the portal before it shuts.
What? There's no way. There is no way that was a UFO. This had to be edited.
Obviously, this is just CGI and not an actual portal. It becomes
Yeah.
pretty apparent that it is not real when you take a look at the other videos on this channel, all which contain fictional, strange stuff happening. For example, take a look at this video.
Oh, dude, those are some nice effects. There's some grade A After Effects right there.
Regardless of all of that, it still is pretty strange to think that the employees took it upon themselves to play a prank like this, knowing it would land them in trouble. But then again, they might not have known they would be identified. What do you guys think? Is CERN actually up to something spooky, or are these employees just playing a joke?
It has to be
Thank
playing
you for
a joke.
watching,
There's no way.
and I will see you on the flip side.
I mean, if there was already conspiracies about them before, it would not surprise me if they were just trying to play it as a joke. Like, it would make sense that they were trying to play it as a joke if there's people who are making weird conspiracy theories about them. I mean, hell, if I own an organization and they assume that, like, oh, his organization does creepy stuff, or they worship the devil or some shit like that, then obviously I would do something that would fuck with them.
You need new glasses, so why not have them delivered to your doorstep?
Oh,
At
dude, I would love some
GlassesUSA.com.
glasses. I would love some glasses.
On November 16th, 2011, a mysterious video was uploaded to YouTube by a channel called Now I Know. The title of the video was, "You have 30 days to pay me $5 million."
Okay, this one I do.
The video
find it a
begins
bit,
with this
like,
guy
weird.
creating some type of RC car with a camera attached to it. The next part of the video is just him traveling somewhere, obviously far away, since we can see how many modes of transportation he uses to get there. He finally reaches his destination, the Great Pyramid of Giza. The final part of the video shows the RC car moving through one of the shafts of the pyramid before abruptly being cut off. He went on to say that if he wasn't paid $5 million and 30 days, then he would release the whole video to the world. This guy also had a website called nowiknow.com that had a countdown timer counting down the days until he would release the full video. It's never clear who he's asking the money from and why he's asking for it. We can assume, however, that he wants the money from the Egyptian government because there's some sort of secret inside that pyramid that they don't want let out. Whatever that secret is, it must be pretty big if it's worth $5 million.
Oh, for sure.
This video didn't exactly go viral, but in just under a month, it had reached over 250,000 views. A lot of people were really curious to see what was in that pyramid. Some people thought he would end up getting killed before uploading the video, and other people wanted him to take precautions to make sure the video would still be uploaded in the case that something did happen to him. And then there was this guy. Honestly, it would have been hilarious if this is actually what happened. Whatever secret was being held down there, it must not have been worth $5 million because the guy ended up uploading the full video at the end of the 30 days. Take a look at what happened at the end of the video. No, just messing with you. Here's what actually happened.
I was about to say.
If you're disappointed with the footage, then I was too. It was really anticlimactic. We only see like 1 second of whatever's on the other end of the pyramid,
Yeah,
and
you
even
only see
then,
like one frame
it's
of
really
that.
difficult to make out. It looks like some sort of light source and possibly a
Figure.
person standing next to it. We could try to get into whatever was inside the pyramid, but to be honest, it's impossible to tell. Like I said, we only see it for a second, and it's very distorted. I've seen some crazy theories develop about what this might be, including it being an immortal Egyptian living inside the tomb. At the end of the day, we can speculate all we want, but that's all it is, a speculation. Instead, we can take a closer look at how genuine this footage truly is. The main consensus on this video as of now is that it's a hoax, and there are a few reasons why.
The montage.
First of all, we can agree that if you're going to do something like this, then you're going to want to conceal your whereabouts as best as you can. The person seemed to not do that at all. He showed plenty of his surroundings, his flight, the motorcycle he rented, the bus he took, and much more.
Yeah, he showed
All of
a
that
lot
could
of
give
things.
very helpful hints to some type of agency that wanted to find him.
Yeah.
Furthermore, we have the fact that we never actually see the guy putting the RC car into the pyramid shaft. The video just cuts to the footage of the car that we have to assume is in the shaft. For all we know, it could just be in an air vent. There's no actual proof of it.
That's indeed true.
Another piece of evidence pointing to this being fake is that I have also seen several people claim this footage was taken from National Geographic. This hasn't actually been confirmed yet, since no one was able to find that episode, and I'm having doubts that it's from National Geographic too, since the RC car camera does seem to look and move in the way that it was built earlier on in the video.
That's indeed true.
So, since we can safely assume this is not real, we need to know what the point of the entire thing was. There's been some speculation on this, and a lot of people believe it was some sort of viral marketing technique. One person suggested it could be some type of marketing for the movie The Pyramid, but I'm not so sure about that, since that movie came out a few years after this whole thing happened. I find it really odd that since the release of this video, we never heard from this guy again. It really leaves us with no clear conclusion. I decided to look into the history of the website. There are archives of the website that date all the way back to 2004, so this website obviously existed long before this event happened. According to later archives, the domain expired on May 28th, 2012, and whoever owned the site never seemed to renew it. But there's a bit more to it than that. In January of 2016, the website actually went back up, except it was nothing at all like it was before. It became some sort of art website. Nothing really seems to be out of the ordinary here, although a lot of it is written in Portuguese. Obviously, one thought that occurred to me was that the whole pyramid ransom video was to gain attention for what would later become this website. I seriously doubt that though, considering the fact that this website was created almost 5 years later. It's more likely that the owner of this art website just happened to use the same domain as the last guy. I really wish I could give a more conclusive ending
I like
to
to
the
think
video,
that this was like
but I
made
really can't
for
find
as
any
an art
solid conclusion
project,
to
but
all of this.
then again, it could be wrong.
Some guy made that video, posted the full thing, and then a few years later just disappeared. We know it was likely faked, and can guess it may have been some sort of viral marketing technique. But beyond that, I really don't know much else. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the flip side.
Yeah, there you go. Ah, jeez. Should I continue on with this? Like at this point, it's like I am kind of sort of losing a bit of interest of doing this. Although I do want to continue on with this on another day, but you know, I almost forgot. Because why not? You know, I think I'll do this another day because, like, I have reached on a section of the playlist which I really want to get into, but I really want to show this to a different person, I guess you could say. I really wanted to show this to Familiar, but also Spooky, if I'm not butchering that name too much. But yeah, I really want to show this next bit to him because I'm sure he's gonna love this bit. But anyways, that's when but yeah, no. I'll live stream again sometime. Hopefully, I think next time I'll probably live stream a bit of gaming. I'm trying to like wait on a response from a friend of mine just so we can play a game. But with that being said, thank you guys for joining me today. You know, whoever's watching this and whoever takes the time to watch this, you know, at least. So yeah, you know, thank you so much for stopping by and watching the stream, and I hope you guys take good care of yourselves. So yeah, this has been Vinicills, and I will see you all later.